What if the problem in your relationship isn't actually you or her or them or it itself, but is the expectation that you've put on things? You want connection, you want intimacy, and yet somehow the more important intimacy becomes, the harder it can be to achieve and enjoy. Suddenly, connection feels pressured, and something that once felt playful now feels heavy. If that sounds familiar, then this video is for you. David, William, Pearce, and welcome back. I've recently been reflecting deeply on something I see a lot of in intelligent, high-functioning men, and something that I have experienced myself. A genuine love for one's partner, men who want a beautiful relationship but slowly begin to lose the feeling of aliveness inside of it. Not because they don't care, but because life slowly crowds out presence. Whether it's work, stress, fatigue, schedules, countless other somethings, eventually intimacy becomes something that you try to fit into life instead of something that nourishes life itself. A lot of men quietly believe that they can fix the issue, that they'll do something and they'll feel connected again. The very archetypal masculine thought of, I can fix it. I can fix the money issue, the anxiety, the pressure, performance or tiredness, whatever it is for you, and then intimacy will finally feel safe again. But what if the real issue isn't actually the issue itself? What if the issue is the relationship you've developed towards the issue? We're getting a bit meta here. Stay with me. Tantra teaches something important. Presence matters more than perfection. And most men were never taught this. They were taught performance, achievement, problem solving, not how to remain connected when things become challenging and imperfect. One of the biggest shifts a man can experience is realizing this. It has been for me. That intimacy is not the same thing as performance. They are not synonymous, chaps. You can technically perform and still feel disconnected. You can be in sexual connection but not really be there. You can have physical challenges and still experience intimacy. That's a radically different orientation, because many men unconsciously organize intimacy around avoiding failure. And when the nervous system detects possible failure, the body contracts. The mind begins monitoring. You get out of your body and into your head and start scanning. Am I okay? Is this working? What if I lose it? What if she notices? What if I disappoint? What if we don't get there? And at the moment that monitoring begins, presence disappears. In classical Tantra, there is a recognition that suffering intensifies when consciousness contracts around grasping, wanting the moment to be different, trying to control, to force, to guarantee. And ironically, the harder you try to force safety, the less safe the nervous system becomes. Hers too. Because now the body is no longer relating to intimacy, it's relating to threat management. And I think many men quietly carry another burden too. The feeling that it's all on me. That I need to lead, I need to initiate, I need to create the atmosphere, I need to perform, plan, create polarity and hold the container. And honestly, there is truth in that, yes. Masculine leadership is a thing and it matters. But there's a difference between leadership and carrying the entire emotional responsibility for connection. It is a marriage, it is a partnership, it is two or more entities showing up. Because eventually that becomes exhausting. Being Atlas and carrying the world on your shoulders, especially when a man already feels stretched by work, by life, by responsibility and pressure. And this is something that many couples experience after the honeymoon phase. In the beginning, connection feels abundant. There's excitement, there's novelty, play, desire is everywhere. Intimacy becomes woven into life naturally. But later, life expands. Everything else comes flooding back in. Career, bills, responsibility, future planning, health and goals. With all of that, intimacy can begin to no longer feel automatic. Feel present. And so the couple unconsciously waits for the perfect moment, which, let's be honest, rarely arrives when life is lifing like it does. One of the deepest shifts a couple can make is this: stop treating intimacy as a spontaneous luxury, and start treating connection as relationship hygiene. Not obligation, not pressure, but care. The same way you brush your teeth, the same way you exercise and shower and sleep, not because you're forced to, but because the quality of your life changes when you do. And this is where Tantra becomes practical. Because Tantra isn't fundamentally about techniques, it's about conscious relating. Learning how to stay connected to yourself, to your body, to your breath, to the person in front of you, even when imperfection appears. One of the most beautiful things a man can learn is the ability to press pause during intimacy. Not because something is wrong, but because nothing is wrong. To slow down, to breathe, to stay connected and feel abundance instead of scarcity. That is empowering. Because when intimacy feels scarce, the nervous system grasps. I can't lose this, I've got to keep going, I've got to get there, I've got to make it happen. But when safety and abundance are present, and there's room for play again, room for breath and laughter and sensation, connection beyond performance, then things shift. And honestly, this is less about frequency and more about identity. The question becomes, what kind of couple are we endeavoring to be? Are you becoming roommates who occasionally have sex? Or partners who consciously cultivate their intimacy as part of their shared life? This doesn't require perfection, but it does require intention. Small, repeated moments of prioritization. So if you're recognizing yourself in this, here are a few practical shifts. First, stop measuring intimacy purely by outcome, okay? Presence matters more than performance. Second is to create intentional containers for connection. Not just hoping intimacy happens when you're exhausted at the end of the day, but actually creating space for it. And if you're interested in contact massage, I'll leave information in the description for you. It's a beautiful practice that allows connection on 3 different levels and allows for intimacy beyond words. Third is to practice pressing pause. I know that this can be challenging for guys, but don't see this as rejection. See this as abundance. Fourth is to notice where intimacy has become associated with pressure instead of play, because your nervous system responds to meaning. And finally, to remember that connection is built through consistency rather than intensity. Not giant peak experiences once a year, but repeated moments of conscious presence and play. And honestly, this is a huge part of the work I'm doing through men's transformational yoga, supporting men in moving out of pressure and performance and critical self-talk and back into presence, embodiment, and connection. Not through motivational hype or pretending to be alpha, but through nervous system work, movement, and massage. Because intimacy is not just something that you do, it's something you learn to embody. So maybe this week's reflection can support you. Where in your life has connection quietly become pressure? And where are you trying to perform instead of relate? And what might change if intimacy stopped being something you had to prove and became something you consciously practiced, either by yourself, which I encourage, and as a unit, together? Sit with this, contemplate it, spend half an hour and write about it. That's what I do once a week for myself personally, and it's really shifted things, so I highly recommend. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next transmission. Cheers.